This is Jazelle Thomas, Jamaican poet, also author. I'm a writer, and I basically, believe in, like being able to describe or, to establish a strong writing form, that helps young people to actually express themselves, and I'm a strong example of that.
Welcome once again to Good News Jamaica, where we source the island for hidden gems. Today we have with us Jazelle Thomas, author and poet. So Jazz, just go ahead and introduce yourself to the viewers and let them know what you do and why you do what you do.
All right, good morning. This is Jazelle Thomas, Jamaican poet, also author. I'm a writer, and I basically, believe in, like being able to describe or, to establish a strong writing form, that helps young people to actually express themselves, and I'm a strong example of that. And basically today I'm here to bring to you guys' attention the poetic story of jazz, in which this is a product that actually followed through everything that I just said. Okay. So, it actually is a book that has poetic content as well as short stories, motivational speeches, a little bit that shows people or, let people know what inspired me to write. So this is actually, the reason why I'm here today.
All right, cool. So Jazz, so where are you from and how old are you?
I'm from Augustown, community of Augustown. I'm 29 years of age. So basically a young individual trying.
Love that, love that. How long ago have you been writing for? How long have you been writing for?
Well, to be honest with you, I've been writing from my teenage years. I've been writing from a teenager, but it's going to be a little bit funny. I first started as a songwriter. I used to DJ, write songs, basically, for entertainment. I find it very, fun at the time when I was actually a younger person. And I transitioned into writing books in 2018, when I first met Andre himself right here, He actually introduced me to a different platform, opened up my eye to a wider, like a wider world of what I can do with writing. You understand? And he's more of hardcore novel, story writer. You understand? But I thought about it and I was saying to myself, what can I do? What am I able to bring forth as a writer? And my natural instincts told me that poetry would be the best way to go, because if songs are really poetry without singing. You understand? So this is the way I brought across the information, and from then it was no stopping me. This is my first book, and currently I'm working on book 2.
See there? All right, love that, love that. So what's the inspiration behind these poems themselves?
The inspiration behind these poems is really like real life stories, experiences I went through, good, bad, you understand, and things that I know that a lot of people can relate to. Okay. You understand? Everyday experiences. All
right. So for you living in Augustown, what you've always been working, school, and now you've actually taken on the art of writing, which is not something that's common in certain areas in Jamaica. So what is that gem or two you can possibly impart on younger persons or persons in general in similar situations who might want to write but who don't know how to go about doing such a thing?
The first thing I'd like to tell you guys is that the first thing you need to do is to write. It starts from writing. Because to be honest with you, I wouldn't have known back then that I would have been an author. But because I exercised my talent so well, I had these information from previous, songs that I wrote, things that I transitioned to poems and things like that. So, if you believe that, you like writing or you like stories, even if it's not even about writing a book or about trying to do a skit or even, trying to create a banger, a lot of people are into anime nowadays and things like those, you understand? So, it's vast, it's wide, there's a lot of things that you can do, that you can write, you can be behind the scenes and you can create, a whole different universe for Jamaica. You can be the first anime writer.
There you go. There you go. So the curiosity is definitely there. So what I'll ask you to do right now is to just find 1 or 2 poems from out of the book and just read them for our viewers, please.
Absolutely. I'm going to start with a poem that I think best describes writing. And it goes by I write in expression. So the poem start by, what is the meaning of expression? This is a question that I often ask. Is it to relieve your pain? Is it the bridge to relinquish my past? My past is the true definition of me. Why would I want to get rid of myself? Why would expression leave me unclothed without shelter, homeless to the ones in the land that I can never comprehend? That I just won't ever understand. What does it take to be independent? Not dependent for anything from anyone, not needy of anything, and I mean anything at all. Keeping myself distant from everything that caused me to feel small. Why would I express myself to people and leave myself vulnerable to fall? Vulnerability to people that suck your energy and leave you when they think they know it all. Is expression a weakness? Does it really make you strong? I think it proves your true strength, and I am the mighty one. Expression. So basically, this is basically a poem that, I wrote, and I wanted to educate people about writing, because a lot of people don't know, what writing does. Writing can help you to, get rid of depression. Writing can help you to, express yourself when you can't even speak out. You understand? If you're not a fluent speaker, maybe you can write. You understand? And, I added some information, a footnote, here under the poems, in which I do it with all poems, to let people understand, the reason behind it. But in this one, I actually thought about educating people about writing. And it goes by saying, writing is one of the world's oldest forms, thought to have been invented in the Mesopotamia century. Like, this was in the modern day Iraq in about 6,000 years ago, about in the 4000 BC. Yeah. The world's first alphabet originated in Egyptian hieroglyphics. Writing was historically a rare skill known only to priests and scribes, now passed down to generations that have inherited the skill and added creative beauty to its platform to create different writing techniques. Even though there are 7,106 living languages in the world, they are interconnected in terms of communication and expressing oneself. I utilize this art to let all my readers know all what I have been through, from good to bad memories to aspiration and dreams. Basically ended off by saying I wrote these poems for you.
Love that. And I definitely love the fact of how you actually added some historical facts after the poem. So,
Right.
So you're sharing your thoughts, and then you're sharing a wealth of knowledge at the same time. So that's definitely a plus. I love the cover also. What was the inspiration for the cover of the book?
The inspiration really and truly is, being gifted at birth. So if you guys can see, it's basically me as a child in my mom's arms. As a baby.
Okay.
You understand? So, really and truly, I couldn't find a better picture to.
And that speaks volumes.
Yes, you understand what I said? So this actually emulates everything that I meant, because even my mom said that. Funny, when I was in her belly, she dreamt about seeing a baby on the clouds, like forever. Basically, she said, like almost every night before she actually, gave birth, she dreamt of seeing a baby on the clouds. So.
And trust me, mama knows best.
Yeah, you understand. So, I just chose to say, hey, like I make this one dedicated, Yeah.
Definitely love that. So you're now an author that will always remain, and years down the line, your books will still be in circulation. Where do you go from here? So you mentioned you're doing a second book, but where do you go from here?
Well, basically, it never stops. If being an author, there is a wide spectrum of things that you can write about. I might even branch off, from poetry, into hardcore novels. You understand? So, I know a lot of people like the topic sex. I think I might venture in that. In the future. In the future.
Yeah.
You understand? And you never know. I still believe that I have the ability to write songs. I can be maybe a songwriter. I can even try to do a few songs of my own. So there's a lot of things that I'm observing, but as you know, everything takes time. So we have to take it a step at a time.
Definitely.
Towards reaching the goals.
All right, and one more question before we actually wrap up. So you being an author in Jamaica, what do you see, or what are some of the changes you think needs to take place for creatives or young writers like yourself in Jamaica right now?
There are not too many platforms out there for, you know, like young Jamaicans to be able to, you know, get their product out there, to be honest with you. You know, because even my product right here, it wasn't even done locally. So, I mean, if there could have been like an organization or maybe multiple organizations, you know, out there that are, you know, basically focused on young youths trying to actually put products out there, you know, whether it's from a novel, you know, to, as stated, it's wide, it's very vast. You know, it would be great. But in the future, you never know. Maybe I can be the person that helps to create that platform. Maybe Andre can be that person.
Definitely.
Maybe Good News Jamaica can be that person.
Definitely.
Or, you know, that team that says, hey, you know, this is actually, you know, something that makes a lot of sense, you understand? So, you know, for the viewers out there, if you guys, you know, have any ways or any ideas, you know, that would be a good, you know, a good way to try to, you know, get it established.
All right, cool. It's been a very informative interview so far. But Jazz, before we wrap up, how can persons get in contact with you? How can persons purchase your book?
Okay, so this book is now located in Kingston Bookstore. It's actually at Pavilion, Springs Plaza, and also in Ligani. You can get it on Amazon. There's also the Kindle version on Amazon as well, The Poetic Story of Jazz. You can actually reach in contact with me at the Jazz the Poet on Instagram. So it's JAZZDIPOET on Instagram. You know, so if you guys have anything that you want to say to me or any, you know, information that you want to bring across, you know, you can actually reach out to me directly.
Definitely respect that. And people, go out there and support the poetry book. It's very informative. Shows a lot of this young man's talent, The Poetic Story of Jazz. So please check it out, and thank you once again for joining us for another fun and informative interview. Stay blessed.
Thank you for checking us out on Good News Jamaica TV for content that informs, inspires, and transforms. Please like, share, leave a comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more positive Jamaica content. Walk good.